I've never experienced anything like it in my life.
Wave after wave of them coming over the hill.
I've got goose pimples the size of bloody eggs.
They came in on 5 main roads and they just blotted those roads out.
It was as though everybody had just come to their senses.
They were there because the battle was there. It could be seen. They weren't watching it on the TV. They were seeing for themselves.
It was the voice of the people at the finish. The voice of Birmingham. If Birmingham City had as good a crowd as we had down there, they'd be top of the first division.
I can't tell you. You know what I mean? I just stood there. I could have roared. Everybody was just shouting and singing. It was bloody marvellous.
I got my ears glued to the news every minute. Then about 11 o'clock, it actually happened. And I realised we'd achieved such a great thing.
I'd have paid £10 to have seen that last 5 minutes again.
Brothers, sisters, join as one, then history we can make. For 100 years, for 1,000 years, we've been hammering at the gate. We've been hammering at the gate. Spartacus showed us the way when in slavery we were bound. And with John Bull we rose again to pull the gentry down, down, to pull the gentry down. We did right as iron sights, a king to overcome. And as levellers, ranters, diggers fought to hold what we had won, to hold what we had won. Driven from our homes and lands, we joined the factory throng, with nothing now but unity is strong, strong, but unity is strong. From strength to strength we organised across the hungry years, till every corner of the land rang with the Chartist cheers, cheers rang with the Chartist cheers. Peterloo to Saltley gates, we never fought in vain, for time is marching on our side and we're on the move again. We are on the move again. Brothers, sisters, join as one, then history we can make. For 100 years, for 1,000 years, we've been hammering at the gate. We've been hammering at the gate.
Come all ye colliers who work down the mines, from Scotland to South Wales, from Teesdale to Tyne. I'll sing you the song of the pound a week rise, and the men who were fooled by the government lies. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise. In 1960, not so long ago, the mine workers lead us to Lord Robins did go, saying we work very hard, every day we risk our lives, and we ask you here and now for a pound a week rise. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise. Then up spoke Lord Robins, and he made this decree, saying when the output rises, then with you I will agree to raise up your wages and give you fair play. For I was once a miner and I worked hard in my day. And it's down you go, down see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise. So the miners, they went back to work, and they worked hard and well, and their lungs filled with coal dust in the bosom of hell. And the output rose by 16, 18% and more, and when 2 years had come and gone, it rose above a score. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise. So the mine workers' leaders went to get their hard-won prize, and to ask Lord Robins for their pound a week rise. But Robins wouldn't give a pound, he wouldn't give 10 bob. He gave them 7 and 6 and said, now get back to your jobs. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise. So come all ye colliers and heed what I say. Don't believe Lord Robins when he says he'll give fair play. He'll tell you to work hard and make the output rise, but you'll get high in the sky and not a £1 rise. And it's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise. It's down you go, down below Jack, where you never see the skies, and you're working in a dungeon for your pound a week rise.
The industrial action taken in 1972 would have come years before that. But they were threatening. You strike and you lose your pit, you lose your jobs. And this created a hell of a lot of doubt and suspicion in the fear of the miners. They wore the record out with that story.
This is an amazing quote from a woman called Sylvia Sabin, who was a shop steward at the SU Carburettor. She says, it's been a bit of an eye-opener for some of us. I'm astonished that you can be expected to go down into the bowels of the earth without as much as a cigarette, which I can have any time of the day I like at work, without hot drinks, without a decent toilet or restroom. I can go to the canteen and buy myself a sandwich. I can go to the toilet whenever I want to. It's a long time ago, this is, I tell you. I get an hour dinner break. Jesus. Christ, she was in luxury. A 10-minute coffee break and a knock-off at 4:30.
Well, it wasn't... Not surprisingly, the miners at the time were the favourites of our wonderful media, who are so dispassionate and objective in their reporting of things. And in 1972, of course, because they were asking for such an extravagant pay rise...
We hadn't got lovely old Rupert Murdoch then, had we?
No, we hadn't.
He would have helped him.
The press was saying, well, you know, it used to be tough for the miners in the old days, but everything's automated now. It's great down the mines, you know, it's like...
It's a doddle, isn't it?
Yeah, they got fluorescent lighting and air conditioning, and what's all the fuss about, you know? They're overpaid, so...
Electric canaries and everything these days.
So we wrote this song, which was taking the piss out of that idea, really.
You swore then, my
Nearly
God.
did, yes. So it's called Did You Ever See? And this is your chance for a bit of audience participation. In other words, you've got to join in. Go for it. Really go for it. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Did you ever see? Did you ever see? Did you ever see such a funny thing before? Once coal mining was a trial. For conditions they were vile. Now those bad old days are over. 'Cause the miner lives in clover. Did you ever see?
Did you ever see? Did you ever see such a funny thing before?
We start work at 9:30, do a bit till breakfast time. Then it's buttered toast and tea while we play cards and watch TV. Did you ever see?
Did you ever see? Wasn't that nice? Harmonies.
If you get a little grimy, well, the overman says, blimey, you just nick around the corner for a manicure and sauna. Did you ever see? Did you ever see?
Did you ever see such a funny thing before?
Once the dust was something chronic, Now the air is like a tonic, 'cause the coal board has commissioned that our pits be air-conditioned. Did you ever see, did you ever see, did you ever see such a funny thing before? Now this verse is a little bit dated.
Oh my God.
Fashion's creeping into mining, platform pit boots bright and shining. They're coming back, I've heard. But the overman went balmy when the fireman wore gold larmy. Did you ever see, did you ever see, did you ever see such a funny thing before? So you tycoons in the city getting ulcers, such a bit of shame. Why not be a social climber? Get a real job, be a miner. Did you ever see, did you ever see, did you ever see such a funny... Last time. Did you ever see, did you ever see, did you ever see such a funny thing before? Well done, great.
Give yourselves a...
On January the 1st, 1972, the Conservative government's Industrial Relations Act, designed to keep pay rises down to 7%, came into force. On January the 9th, the miners of Britain went on strike. Their demand? Wage increases of 35 to 40%.
The South Wales miners were delegated the responsibility of picketing the area from Bournemouth to Plymouth, and from Plymouth all over Wales. A week before the strike started, we'd met the other unions involved in the transportation of coal. We met seamen and dockers, and within 3 weeks, the movement of coal was completely in the hands of the miners and their allies.
The women came to all the meetings in Kent. We were in the know about what was going on. The wives were completely behind their husbands. We came to the meetings, distributed leaflets, organised pickets.
We got the coal light local to Markham, and it was hectic there the first week of the strike. No power stations, no docks, so we could sow Derbyshire up pretty easily as regards coal stocks.
In Birmingham City at 5 in the morning, the streets are deserted, the air it is chill. A mile from the lights of the brash city centre, the scarred face of Saltley is silent and still. The towering gas holders loom high over Saltley and shadow the houses that cluster nearby. A wintry moon silent vigil is keeping upon that black mountain that points to the sky.
Saltley Gasworks, whose official name is Nechel's, one vast gas coking plant which covers 64 acres and wafts a sweet perfume of its trade over East Birmingham.
It's 6 in the morning, soon day will be dawning. A small bands of pickets are standing there by. Down to the gasworks the pickets are going, ready for the struggle unfolding nearby. The A38 and a lorry's arriving to join the long queue stretching down Saltley Road. Now through the cold night the contractors are driving to reach that huge stockpile and pick up their load.
Here are the homes of 100,000 workers. Here they live and here they work. In factory, railway yard and machine shop, every day stream past these Saltley gates to cross the railway and the old Grand Union Canal by Saltley Viaduct, to clock in at 1,000 factory gates.
7:15 and traffic is flowing. The bus queues are forming, the cars hurry by. The people of Saltley to work they are going. not knowing the struggle unfolding nearby. At 8 in the morning, the gates they swing open, a hissing of air brakes, another load poured. The 20-ton monsters roar off with their cargo. The small bands of pickets are coldly ignored.
Here, through the oil-mad years before, had grown the mountain. Its huge stockpile of waste, unwanted coke, poured from the gaunt coke ovens to the west in Windsor Street and dumped at Saltley.
But who won the fuel that powers the gasworks, the offices, railways and factories today? Our industry grew from the blood of the miner, for that muscle and sweat as a price still to pay.
But now, to those in the corridors of power, it's a gold mine. Now into Saltley flood the lorries, jamming up already jam-packed streets, to queue for coke, to stoke the fires of profit-hungry businessmen from Land's End to John O'Groats. Now to the wily men of Whitehall, it's a chance to win a battle, though the war is lost. Here in the heart of Birmingham, to throw down the gauntlet and defy the miners' right to take it up.
Jim Doherty, Kersley Colliery. We started to man the power stations right away. But while we were standing picketing Coventry Power Station, we kept seeing these trucks. Fleets of them coming down, one after another. Maybe 15 together at a time. We wanted to know where they were coming from. We reported back to the strike committee. We've been to Saltley, and you want at least 300 pickets over there. I said, I wish I had a shilling for every lorry I counted today. I'd be a millionaire. My feet were sore with walking from street to street to street. And all I could see was lorries from every part of this country. There were even 2 lorries there from Wick, right in the far north of Scotland, all over the country. And they were all coming and heading straight for Saltley Gate.
This is a quote from a young pit deputy of the time from South Yorkshire who's called Arthur Scargill.
Never get anywhere with a name like that, will he?
Never heard of him? God. It says, it was a Saturday, the 5th of February, 1972. I was in the area headquarters of the NUM in Barnsley. It had been a basic, normal day, nothing unusual had happened. Then a telephone rang and a message from London was received saying that they required urgently at least 200 pickets, and more if we could provide them, to picket a gasworks in Birmingham called Nechel's Green. We'd never heard of the place. So in Wales, I contacted Emlyn Williams and asked him for as many reinforcements as he could. When I told him I wanted 1,000, he said, bloody hell, man, do you realise bloody Wales are playing England today? And I said, do you realise the working class are playing the ruling class in the battle of the century? Is that Scargill or not? I rest my case.
Bit apprehensive, not knowing what to find at Saltley. And when the chairman informs you of the situation, that this is a place where a tremendous amount of coke is, that it's essential we stop the transportation of that coke, you know, you really worry about those things on the way down in the bus.
As a lodge committee man, I'm proud of the fact that I can go to my comrades, and lo and behold, within 2 hours we're on the bus and on our way to Birmingham.
From Cudworth, Cotgrove, Cannockwood, Fernhill and Yorkshire, Maine, from Markham, Marney and Mountain Ash, to Saltley Gate they came, to Saltley Gate they came.
We'd had a month with the police in Derbyshire, and okay, it makes a change, fixed in your own backyard, bus ride, bit of a laugh, but not a lot of money, the picketing allowance. 15 bob to last you the day if you're lucky.
There Guy Blind, Dark and Silverwood, Dormill and Denbydale, from Staveley, Woolley and Coventry, to Saltley Gate they came, to Saltley Gate they came.
Saturday night, me and Stan Yap in the Labour Club, and this chap walks in. 2 miners looking for you. So we run round the corner and bump into them. Pit clothes, donkey jackets and boots. Coachload of pickets arriving from Barnsley. So it's into the Star Club in Essex Street to arrange accommodation between us.
Jack Cook, Tom Smith, John Forrester, Di Evans and Bill Payne, Roy Hunter and John Carpenter, water. To Saltley Gate they came to Saltley Gate they came.
9:30, the first coach comes in. All the time, miners arriving at the Labour Party. And all the time, Labour members and Communist Party members organising beds, shuttling miners all over the city, fitting them in T and G anywhere just to get them beds.
From Aston down to Bardsley Green, Small Heath to Summer Lane, and a welcome was awaiting when the Saltley Gate they came to Saltley Gate they came.
I'd never been in Birmingham before. What a job, what a task. 200 miners landed in the Star Social Club for the night.
It's 6 in the morning, a cold Sunday morning. The bus stop's deserted, no rush to clock in. A clatter of mining boots shatters the silence. At Saltley, a battle is about to begin.
And the feeling was, Birmingham was coming to our side as well. You could see it, you could feel it. People were looking at you, coming up, putting their arms around you and shaking you by the hand.
There was a coach going past, and it was an old people's outing. And they were going out to the pantomime. And one of the group got off, and they came up to the picket leader, and they said, look, we'd rather spend the money that we were going to spend at pantomime by giving it to you lads. We said, no, we can't take your money. What else can you say?
A lot of people came down there with hot pies and hot drinks, hot soup. They weren't actually taking part in the affray, but just to see them there, it raised our souls.
We could see that the build-up was happening, as if there was something over Birmingham itself. I could feel it. I was telling the lads all the time, I can feel something's going to happen, something big.
Senior shop steward, Rover, Solihull. The shop floor were asking me what I was going to do about it, and I said, look, let's do something in the proper formal fashion. And let me get me bloody coat off, I've only just got here. And from there on in, until the factory closed down by everybody walking out of it, I didn't get a minute's peace. All the time I was being badgered and pushed and pressured to get me finger out, get something down, because everybody was ready, willing and waiting.
Well, in 1972, it wasn't just the miners who were under attack from our friendly press, it was also the motor trade workers. And at the time, of course, the motor trade workers were lazy and idle and always going on strike and having tea breaks every 5 minutes and all the rest of the rubbish.
That bloody red robbo.
Unless you happen to actually work in a car factory, then you found it was slightly different. Anyway, this song was written by a shop steward called Don Pettigrove. I just noticed he's actually on one of the slides, because he was down at Saltley. But he wrote this song when he was working at the Standard plant over in Coventry. And it's a song called The Motor Trade Worker. And it's got a refrain line. Please join in with it. I'm one of those motor trade workers. We're labelled as loafers and shirkers. We're crippling the country, the newspapers say, with too low an output and far too much pay. Far too much pay, far too much pay, with too low an output and far too much pay. Do you want to try that bit? Far too much pay, far too much pay, with too low an output and far too much pay. I'm sure you can identify with that one. Each morning we leave around 7 and drive to our mechanised heaven. We make cans of tea, have a laugh and a crack, till the 7:30 bell rings and off goes the track. Off goes the track, off goes the track, till the 7:30 bell rings, then off goes the track. Our track is a steel overseer. We pray he'll break down, but no fear, 'cause his vital organs are switches and knobs, and he has us poor workers all sweating great cobs, sweating great cobs, sweating great cobs, and he has us poor workers all sweating great cobs. We're pressing and turning and milling, we're finishing and trimming and drilling. We paint and wet flats and we rivet and bore on machines that ain't changed since the Crimean War. Crimean War, Crimean War, on machines that ain't changed since the Crimean War. The big banker who's running our nation claims we are the cause of inflation. He sits at his desk on his fat pinstriped arse while we do the donkey work. He counts the brass, he counts the brass, he counts the brass while we do the donkey work. He counts the brass. Our trade fluctuates with the season. That's mainly the cause and the reason. We organise now, go in with both feet, but tomorrow we may well be walking the streets, walking the streets, walking the streets. For tomorrow we may well be walking the streets. Investors and financial backers are greedily counting the acres that they have procured by the workers' own sweat. Then the bastards begrudge us the wages we get, wages we get, wages we get. Then the bastards begrudge us the wages we get. So word to you wealthy fat Tories, none here out, who dream up those newspaper stories. If it's true what they say and we're all in the stew, then we're the red peppers, the dumplings are you. Dumplings are you, dumplings are you. Then we're the red peppers, the dumplings are you.
About 300 police there already, on the lines, and you could see up the side streets. There were 4 or 5 buses and squads of police lined up. And these were all stood up the side street, frightened the life out of us at first. Frightened the bleeding life out of us.
They were coming down the hill like cockroaches. I think they must have been making them in Hong Kong and transporting them straight to Birmingham.
Picket from Mardy in South Wales. Quite a number of men were coming down there in boiler suits, and they were drivers from such and such a firm, but we were a bit suspicious. Because the odd part about it was that they were all big men. No small men amongst them at all. They were all great big men.
I mean, the warning was given by Scargill, not to be provoked. But what do you do when somebody cracks you behind the ear hole? You turn round and you go in for him, and it's a guy in plain clothes.
We felt that someone or somebody was trying to push us into a battle with the police, which we knew if it came to a confrontation, we'd have to lose.
Onsetter, Wooly Colliery. You can smell them, can't you?
The chief commissioners of the yard have been in consultation, and we've had orders that the force needs reorientation. They say the situation now demands some British grit, sir. That's why we're studying the works of our hero
Adolf Hitler. CS gas and riot shields are the latest dispensation, with plastic bullets stored away for a minor confrontation.
Get it, minor? Take your time.
At Hendon they impressed on us the need for adaptation, because the enemy is 9/10 of the total population. We've got to make an impact, or our backs are to the wall, sir, to give the need to the citizenry. Ooh, in the old orchestral stall, sir.
Maintaining law and order, well, that is our major function. That's why we charge around on horseback, swinging 3-foot truncheons. We beat a bloke insensible while the media holds its silence. Then politicians from both sides deplore the picket's violence.
CS gas and riot shields are the latest dispensation, with plastic bullets stored away for a minor confrontation. It's clear to see the times have changed. I'm sure you'll be agreeing. The recruits we take on nowadays don't look like human beings. Some say coppers need a grain, or what could be absurder when a guy dressed up in a blue serge suit can get away with murder.
They teach us how to deal with crowds so the press don't try to hammer us. Just knee some bastard in the crutch while smiling at the cameras. You've got to watch your step these days when the TV boys are shooting. Just use some guile and give a big smile when putting the good old boot in. CS gas and riot shields are the latest dispensation, with plastic bullets stored away for a minor confrontation.
Our super says we must improve community relations, and I'm often seen upon me beats a-chatting to the Asians. I feel it is our duty to give foreign friends a fair do, so I've learnt
I am arresting you
in Hindi and in Urdu.
Oh, funny is it? We do our duty night and day 'cause we have got our orders. We block off roads impartially to striking coal marauders. We're always ready to move in a tricky situation. To get a few scabs into work, we'll close down half the nation. CS gas and riot shields are the latest dispensation, with plastic bullets stored away for a minor confrontation. As you can see, we're well prepared to deal with agitators.
We're moving in on blacks and reds and poll tax demonstrators.
If you're looking for a cushy job, a copper's life is great, sir.
And we've had word from the boys upstairs to prepare for the fascist state, sir. Dorry Rock, shop steward from Land Rover Solihull. 2 or 3 of us got together from the trim shop. We had an unofficial whip round and we collected 64 quid. So we knew that people on the shop floor were sympathetic to the miners. Even the supervisor gave to it.
We got down there one morning with this tray of pies, and this big cowboy comes through in his lorry. Opens his window and he's got an iron bar in his hand. He's going through, he's got his living to earn, and Alan's steak and kidney pie hit him smack on the forehead. And just dribbled straight the way down his face. And that was the signal for every pie on the tray to go. There must have been 600 of them went.
And they were starving, they were bloody starving.
There was coppers walking round with pies on the tops of their helmet. And serious thing, this is. And it just shows the vexation, because I could have eaten a bloody cow. I've never seen a sight like it in my life either. It was heartwarming, it was. Just to see a stupid thing like pies being thrown. It was pie in the sky.
Cue for a song.
If ever there was one.
This song is an old wobbly song. Have you heard of the Wobblies? The industrial workers of the world, I think they were big in America from about the 1880s through to the 1930s. Not very good in history, something like that. Anyway, they had a great tradition of going round following the Salvation Army and other people who were popular on the streets with music. And they nicked their tunes and put some more sensible words to them. This is one of them, a song called Pie in the Sky. Feels very appropriate in here, I don't know why.
It's very church-like.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
You don't think we're going to get struck now?
Afterwards. We will eat by and by in that glorious land up in the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. It's a lie. Oh, the Starvation Army, they come. And they say, put your penny on the drum. But when asked about something to eat, they will tell you in voices so sweet. You will eat by and by in that glorious land up in the sky. Work and pray, work and pray, live on hay. You get pie in the sky when you die. It's a lie! Workers of every country unite. Side by side we for freedom will fight. When the world and its wealth we have gained, to the grafters we'll sing this refrain. You will eat by and by in that glorious land up high, way up high, work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die, it's no lie. Birmingham Post, February the 9th, 1972. A Conservative amendment applauding the action of the police in ensuring that the law in relation to peaceful picketing was being properly observed and regretting the hooliganism and assaults on the police was carried in the council by 75 votes to 61.
Birmingham Post, February the 9th. The cattle dispute has reached a point where the supreme issue for the nation is no longer what the pay settlement is to be, but whether public order and individual citizens' rights are to be overthrown.
Birmingham Evening Mail, February the 4th, 1972.
This is absolutely true, every word of this.
An NCB spokesman described the situation as inhuman and criminal. Pensioners were ringing up in tears, pleading for their concessionary coal supplies. An 80-year-old ex-miner travels 6 miles to beg for coal because his wife is dying of cancer and slowly freezing to death.
It has the ring of truth, doesn't it, This is a song about a local newspaper in Birmingham. It's one of our favourites, but I'm sure you've got one around here as well. It's called Evening Mail.
We bring you all the latest news served upon a plate with all the best ingredients to tempt and titillate. We process and we purify, safely sterilise to satisfy the interests of private enterprise. Evening Mail, Evening Mail. We would do most anything to make another sale. Evening Mail. It's early in the evening when we're out on tour, a juicy rape or mugging, that's what we're looking for. We can shop for shirker most any time of day and pick out reds from alphabets that half a mile away. Evening Mail, Evening Mail. We could turn a puff of wind into a roaring gale. Evening Mail. Yeah, local freedom fighters, we use the common touch, safeguarding our democracy. We ride straight from the crutch, we're always there beside you. When strikes begin to bite, to make a blow for freedom and honest black legs' rights. Evening Mail, Evening Mail. We could turn a little fish into a killer whale. Evening Mail. To sow confusion and we aim to mystify, to safeguard city bankers and keep their profits high. So when jobs are massacred and prices escalate, we blame them lazy workers as they're stranding on a state. Evening Mail, Evening Mail. We could wash the crime squad a whiter shade of pale. Evening Mail. Motor workers fighting on the track, and all those mindless militants we frequently attack. We gnash our teeth at shoddy work till Leyland's on its knees, and rant and rave cause everybody's buying Japanese. Evening Mail, Evening Mail. We would do most anything to make another sale. Evening mail.
Read all about it.
Late night final, get your copy.
Arthur Scargill addressing the East Birmingham District Committee of the Amalgamated Engineering Union, Tuesday, February the 8th. Brothers and sisters, there's no support that you withhold from us at this hour. It's not the miners that are under attack. It's the working class and trade union movement. You've seen them, the battalions of police force raised against us and prepared to use some really tough measures. We want support on the picket line. And if money is a substitute for action, we don't want it. We don't want pound note consciences. We want men down there.
Well, brothers and sisters, I don't think any of us are in any doubt about our support for the miners' cause. And our brother Scargill's presence here today can make that official. I therefore move on this district committee the resolution that we call on all AEU members in the Birmingham East to support the miners in their struggle at Saltley and shut the depot by a mass picket of Saltley Gate. All those in favour? Aye. All those in favour? Aye.
Carried unanimously.
Two joined hands was our device when our banner first unfurled. Hands that knew the feel of tools and helped to build a world. Two hands became a million hands and fashioned down the years the machines that make the world go round. The ships and planes and the diesel trains, the weaving frames and the building cranes. We are the engineers. We tamed the fires and harnessed metals, learned 1,000 skills. Our hands have made the tools we use in factories, mines and mills. As the hands that throw the switch that puts the world in gear, that makes the plough that turns the soil, and the ships and planes and the diesel trains, the weaving frames and the building cranes. We are the engineers. Gales and transportation hulks, space union pioneers, police and spies at every turn, a world of doubt and fears. Our union sprang from poverty, from hunger, blood and tears, but we fought the cruel laws, and when we lost we rose to fight again. For the right to work as women and men. We are the engineers. We stamped our feet in the morning queues, known unemployment's toll. Seen hands grow soft in idleness, a slow death on the dole. The rusty lathe and the silent factory mark the hungry years, and the grass growing green on the shipyard floor, and the endless beat of marching feet as we demanded the right to eat and work as engineers. And we, the youngest engineers, now march to claim our rights, 'cause we have learned that nothing is ever won without a fight. Every battle fought and won reveals a new frontier, and a world to be won by those who build the ships and cranes and the diesel trains, the weaving frames and the building cranes. We are the engineers.
Thanks very much, thank you. Many workers in Birmingham come from mining stock. Some have been miners themselves, and they know the strength of going down a pit.
Meeting with all AEU stewards of Birmingham East, early Wednesday evening. Brothers, we all are in full sympathy with the miners, but in this moment of time, the interests of the mine workers would best be served by a properly organised stoppage of work. And it is my considered opinion that this is not possible before Wednesday week at the earliest.
Brothers, if you cannot get Birmingham workers out tomorrow, you'll be doing the miners a disservice. By Monday, with the pressure we're all under, demoralisation could well have set in. We need men and women, and we need them tomorrow.
Brothers and sisters, we've all heard what the delegate from the NUM has had to say tonight. All those in favour of action. All those in favour of action. Thank you.
Had me worried for a second. Resolved that this council call on all NUVB members in the Birmingham area to demonstrate their support for the miners by marching to Saltley by 10 a.m.
Transport House, Broad Street. We will get as many transport workers down on the picket line as possible tomorrow morning.
11 p.m. Electricians Union pledged unofficial support.
The last meeting was with Birmingham Trades Council at midnight.
Arthur Scargill. From 4 o'clock till 12:30 we've been on the go. So we decided we'd at least try and get a cooked meal. And on the way home to Nick Bridges' house, we bought some fish and chips. Now you can imagine, we were feeling a bit under the weather. We were really looking forward to them. So Nick put them under the grill and forgot about them. The bloody things went up in smoke. And there we were, eating burnt fish, with burnt chips and burnt paper amongst them. And that was our cooked meal.
In Birmingham City at 5 in the morning, the bus queues are forming, the cars hurry by. The people of Saltley to work they are going, not knowing the struggle unfolding nearby.
Everybody was waiting. It got to about 9 o'clock and I thought, oh God. They get into work about 7:30, call a meeting immediately for 8 o'clock. Our tractors and transmissions is about 25 minutes away. 8:30 they should be down here. 8:30 they ain't down here and I've got a splitting headache. So I takes a little walk up towards the traffic lights.
There was a growing feeling of apprehension amongst the police. And instantly we recognised there was something wrong. There was something different. There was no traffic moving.
Something was coming off. It was like a big cloud in the air.
I've never experienced anything like it in my life.
Wave after wave of them coming over the hill.
It's a thing I'll never forget. I'll never forget it as long as I live. There were men down there with tears in their eyes, crying.
It was as though everybody had just come to their senses.
It made you go cold when you walked down to Saltley and saw that vast crowd that was gathered there. The way nothing was moving. Not buses, not nothing. It was just a solid mass of working people.
I was really proud of them that day. Really proud of the people of Birmingham. The miners did us a great turn that day. They united the whole trade union movement of Birmingham.
I got to the corner and I looked up the Washwood Heath Road. There they come. 8, 9 abreast. And there's Arthur Harper at the front, barrel-chested. They got this big banner. The miners' struggle is our struggle. That's why they've been so long. They'd all been making this banner. I thought, I'm an engineer. I'm going in with this lot. The rover workers came, close the gates, and fishers just the same, close the gates. The women from SU, the Morris workers too, to salt the gate they drew, close the gates, to salt the gate they drew, gates. We marched along Jews Lane, close the gates. Down Tyburn Road, with heads held high we strode. Our banners filled the road, close the gates, close the gates. Our banners filled the road, close the gates. A solid wall are we, close the gates, close the gates. Our strength is unity, close the gates. We marched across the years, through hunger, doubt and fears. We are the engineers, close the gates, close the gates. We are the engineers, close the gates. You men of high renown, close the gates, close the gates. You servants of the crown, close the gates. No power in the land can gain the upper hand. When we united stand, close the gates, close the gates. When we united stand, close the gates. A solid wall are we, close the gates, close the gates. Our strength is unity, close the gates. No power in the land can gain the upper hand. When we united stand, close the gates, close the gates. When we united stand, close the gates, close the gates, close the gates.
Thanks a lot. See you in a little while.